Hello, my name is Grace. Welcome to another video. I hope you all are doing well on this fine day today. And today we're gonna talk about what I've been reading during quarantine. So I feel like quarantine has been a really weird time because the concept of time doesn't really exist. And so I feel like each day that comes, I have the opportunity to be the most lazy version of myself possible. But one thing remains the same, and I love to read, and that's just something that I've always loved to do. I kind of fell out of reading a lot for a long time just because I didn't have the time, you know, I'm a college student, now I have a job, like that's weird to say, but I do, and so sometimes you just don't have the time for leisurely reading. Something that I have realized though is watching TV is so terrible for you. Well, I mean, I take that back. It's not that terrible for you. It like, you know, warms your heart, keeps you occupied, but at the end of the day, it makes you lazy. There is a lot more effort that goes into reading a book than watching a show. So whenever I'm like, oh, I should watch a TV show, like I really want to be entertained right now, no, I tell myself, Grace, go read a book. It's better for you. So that is what I've been doing instead, and I want to share with you what I have been reading in quarantine. I've also really gotten into listening to audiobooks. I think that's like one of my favorite things now. I love listening to podcasts, love listening to audiobooks. Like when I'm making breakfast, I'm like listening to my favorite audiobook. Well, not my favorite audiobook, the audiobook that I'm listening to of the day. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, okay. When I'm out on a walk, when I'm out on a run, when I'm driving, it's just a good thing to do. Like it's kind of mindless, but I'm also absorbing information and stories at the same time. It's fantastic. If you would like a free audiobook, you can use my Audible code down below. Shameless plug, but honestly, like why not? You know? Okay, great. Some of the last audiobooks that I listened to that I would really recommend. First is The Moment of Lift by Melinda Gates. This was an amazing audiobook because number one, it's actually read aloud by Melinda Gates, and I love it when an audiobook is read aloud by the author. I just feel like it adds so much more depth because you can actually like hear the words that the author is like trying to say. It's great. It's fantastic. And so The Moment of Lift is really about female empowerment and looking at how we can take certain causes and solve them through certain really strategized approaches. So you're going to look at like why women are paid less, why women have less education opportunities, how to address those. And I feel like that was so empowering. I mean, it's a corny word to say, but it was really empowering to kind of see like, oh, there are real ways that we can address the gaps, the unequal opportunities in the world with just like a couple of simple things. In reality, they sound really simple, but they're not that simple at the end of the day, which is like something that you begin to understand like after you read the book. But I really appreciate the work that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the work that they're doing is fantastic, and I just loved hearing all the work from Melinda Gates herself, like her perspective. It was great, and I would highly recommend it. Like 10 out of 10, enjoyed it with my whole heart. And if you're looking for something educational but also really like easy to like digest like the information, I would really recommend this book. Like it was so eye-opening. I'll link it down below if you're interested. And then another book that I also listened to in quarantine, I actually listened to in April, was so eye-opening as well. It was the Hillbilly Elegy by, oh my god, I'm blanking on who the author was. Oh god, who is the author? J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is the author of the Hillbilly Elegy. And essentially it talks about middle America, talks about J.D. Vance's life, and I believe it's going to be a movie. Amy Adams is going to play one of the characters. It'll be on Netflix, I believe. I read some news about it. But essentially this book tells the story of J.D. Vance's childhood, kind of like the uneasy life that he had, all the life challenges, why it's so hard to like kind of come out of that area. And he talks about his life in rural Ohio and rural Kentucky. And this was also a really interesting book because I had never really had information about what life was like in that part of America because I'm not from there. Like I was born in Chicago and I live in Seattle now, which are very different places from those areas of the US. So kind of getting that education, but also like the story of kind of his life and what it was like to kind of battle that, because he eventually went to Yale Law School. It was truly a remarkable story and I really liked it, and I think it really helped me kind of like grasp a perspective on kind of what's going on in the world politically and like what goes on in the United States all the time. If you're looking for something that's really like going to tell you what's behind all the movements and kind of what people think all around the country, this is a really great book because it's told in a really great way and it's also very educational at the same time. I'm listening to such educational things now. I don't listen to all YA. A book that I'm actually listening to right now is the one and only Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Last Hours trilogy. And I'm actually so excited. I just started it and I've been like outside like tanning while also listening to this. It's been fantastic. Cassandra Clare will forever hold a really great place in my heart just because I love the Shadowhunter world that she's created and it's just so beautiful. This is never gonna get old. Like I'm literally going to read Cassandra Clare books until until she stops writing. Please, like, just hopefully she never stops writing, but in the case that she does, I will follow her until the day I die. So I'll update you guys on that when I'm done reading with it, but I'm really excited about this one. It's already really good. And so moving on to the actual physical books that I have to show you, basically like every morning and every night I read one of the Good Morning, Good Nights from this book by Manuel Miranda, and it's so cute. There are these like little poems, and there's like Good Morning one and there's a Good Night one, and it's just such a great way to like start your day. And I'm also a huge fan of Manuel Miranda, obviously, like since 2015, like when Hamilton came out. Yeah, they're little pep talks. It's so cute. Look at it. Moving on. So a friend actually got me this book for my birthday a while back, and We Were Liars by Lockhart was a big hit back in the day, and I never actually read it, but I finally did, and I was actually, like, I was not expecting for this book to turn out the way that it did. It was just like, whoa, like this is actually like kind of a big plot twist that I wasn't expecting. I feel like at this point in my life, I am so fine-tuned to the plot arcs of many young adult novels to the point where I can predict what happens, but I'm like enjoying it at the same time. For when I was reading this book, I was just like, I mean, like, yeah, like it's good, like I like it, I'm enjoying it, I'm outside, but I did not predict it whatsoever. And I was like so disappointed in myself, almost like, oh, Grace, you could do so much better. But I feel like that was also really refreshing at the same time. Like this was actually like a really unique book, and so I actually really liked it. The next book I read is a poetry book, and it's called The Dark Between Stars by Atticus. And this like talks about love and what it's like to be in love, what it's like to get your heart broken. I really enjoyed it because the visuals were really, really nice, and like the way that the fonts were designed, and I just really liked the kind of the color scheme. There was no color scheme, it's black and white, but I really liked that. It's really funny because like you think of love as like such a multifaceted concept, but then you have a book that's told in black and white. Do you know what I mean? The next book I read was Once and For All by Sarah Dessen. This was actually so cute. Like I wish that I'd read it when I first came out so that I could hype it up even more and be like, oh my god, like literally get this book. Now I'm saying it, like get this book. I loved it. It was fantastic. Sarah Dessen is still the queen of YA. She's been going at it for a really long time, but she's really good at it. This is about a girl who works for her single mother and her single mother's friend in a wedding planning company. You know, all is well. She's like really good at the wedding business, about to go off to college, something like that, just graduated high school. This boy is hired by her mother to go on to their wedding planning company, and you know how it goes. It was so cute though. I absolutely loved it. I feel like there are a lot of like events that a lot of YA books fall onto, so that way they can kind of just like milk this teenage romance. But I felt like this was more about finding yourself and your close relationships, and it wasn't all about the romance. That was so refreshing to me because I felt like, oh my god, like she's not trying to pull all the strings that she needs to in order to like keep you engaged. There are other factors that do that. It was so fantastic, and if you're looking for like the cute summery romance read, but like that isn't cliche and boring, this is the book for you. I'm telling you, it's great. The next book that I read was The Host by Stephenie Meyer. So if you know me, you've been watching my channel for a really long time. The Twilight series was one of the first series that I ever like really truly became a fangirl for. I don't know why, I still don't have an explanation to it. Like I feel like Twilight is just like this sacred thing in my heart that I refuse to reread it and recognize how badly it might be actually written, but it's fine. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so Stephenie Meyer is a hero to me. She got me into reading. I never would have made this YouTube channel without Twilight, okay? You have to understand. I will be a fan of it. I will treasure it. I don't care what people say. The movies are different. Like, I don't have to be a fan of the movies. The movies aren't that great, but the books. We just have to like have this kind of mutual acceptance. And so I had never read The Host before, but I bought the book like a long time ago, and I finally decided like, let's see what else Stephenie can do, you know? And so I decided to pick up The Host. It was kind of like a slow burner. You just read a couple of chapters every single day. It wasn't like one of those like page turners. Like I didn't binge read this book until like maybe this much was left, this latter half right here, and I just flew through the end of it. And this book was really weird because you kind of have to like battle with like the internal voices, because we follow essentially an alien invasion, and this like soul inserts herself into this rebel that lived on Earth that was part of the human resistance, and you have those like two internal voices battling each other while they like, you know, battle over these two men. It was really interesting, kind of weird for me to wrap my head around, but at the same time, like I really appreciated the detail that went into trying to create this apocalyptic world, and I liked it. You know, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't the best sci-fi book I've ever read in my entire life, but I would say like this was a pretty good like calm summer read. It wasn't like gut-wrenching and heart-wrenching to the point where I was like depressed for 5 days after finishing it. Like I have been with some books, like I've been so invested in them and that happens to me, but like this was like, yeah, I finished it. It was great, you know, lighthearted, like, woo! I don't mind that whatsoever. That's kind of the mood, the vibe that I'm going for in quarantine anyways. I have no complaints with the host. I don't know if it's everyone's cup of tea, but it was not bad by all means. It was actually pretty okay. So if you're looking for something that's just like, you know, like I liked it, not gonna marry her, but like, you know, just, yeah, would really recommend this one for you. Okay, the last one I just finished, and I don't know why it took me so long to finish it, but it was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I'm on to the next one. I've been reading Harry Potter, and I really just love Harry Potter. It's so lighthearted, it's so fantastical and whimsical, and it just makes you feel so happy. It's the perfect story for this time right now. The world is going to shit, but Harry Potter still exists. It's fantastic. I will say nothing less. Alrighty. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. These are all the books that I read in quarantine, and I've read actually quite a decent amount. I didn't think I would read that many just because I haven't been reading a lot in the past, but I'm quite proud of myself. I'm gonna continue listening to audiobooks, obviously continue reading, but like my state's starting to open up, which is really nice. It's making me sane, honestly. But before I hop off this video, I just wanted to say stay safe. Your health is the #1 most important thing. And another thing, Black Lives Matter, guys. Like, this is such an important time right now, and I just like want you to know. I will never know what it's like, but I am definitely a supporter of the cause, and if you want some educational resources, I will link them down in the description box below, because I think we are living in a crazy time right now. Like, who said 2020 could get any crazier? Literally, what is going on? But those things aside, thank you so much for watching this video. I will link all of the books that I mentioned in this video down in the description box below so that you can check them out. And yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to do more, please subscribe to my channel. My name's Grace. I'll see you in another video. Bye!